Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is Colin, back at it again with episode 21 of A New Direction, the podcast where I talk about all sorts of things, give a variety of topics, and just kind of my advice and everything on different things. And today I'm coming at you again with a standard episode, 4 different topics, like usual. And I must admit, I'm very, very tired. I've had a long day, a long week here with work and whatnot leading up to Thanksgiving. And so you'll have to forgive me if I seem a little bit less energetic this time around, but it is almost 1 a.m. as I record this, and I want to open up by saying Happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. That'll be tomorrow, but I hope you all enjoy your holiday and have some good plans and a good dinner with your families and everything. And we'll talk a little bit about Thanksgiving in this episode, actually, so we'll dive into that in a little bit. But with that being said, before we get started, we're going to do the music recommendation. And today we have something just a little bit different. I wanted to kind of recommend my own album that I've released, and not because, I'm overzealous or, overly, arrogant or confident about it as a work, but just so I can, recommend it to new viewers who may have not heard about it or, anybody who happens to stumble upon this. My album Lament, which is available on all major streaming platforms and Bandcamp, came out in October. I believe it was October 3rd. So it's been out almost 2 months now, coming up. And I'm really, really proud of it. It's like a dark ambient, kind of dark folk, like acoustic driven sort of album. And I was really, really happy with how it turned out. And it definitely was much better than I ever anticipated it being. It all kind of came together very quickly. And so, I've talked about the recording process and everything with that album before on the podcast, but I just wanted to recommend it and, I guess drop it out there so I could get some more exposure. But all of the tracks are very, very special. They all kind of flow into one another, and they are all very much like self-reflective, like they're expressions of my emotions at the time. And I definitely think like it came across how I wanted it to. It definitely gave off the vibe that I was shooting for. And overall, I was really proud with how it turned out, especially for like a first album, first full-length composition. I really am proud of how it turned out. But Lament, available, like I said, on all Spotify or all major streaming platforms. So Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon, YouTube Music. It's everywhere. So you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. And I'll put the link in the description to the Bandcamp page. I've pretty much been doing that for all the episodes. So it'll be down there. But I would really appreciate, some listens, some feedback, and just kind of hear what the public opinion on it is. I haven't heard a whole bunch about it since it came out. It hasn't really gone anywhere too far yet, but as more people listen to it, I'm definitely very curious on the feedback, and so drop it in the comments if you have anything to say, if you give it a chance. But with that being said, we're going to dive right into the topics of discussion for this episode. And starting off, we've got yet another car-related topic. Y'all are like, oh, great. How many more cars can he talk about? And this one is yet again another American muscle car, the 5th Gen Camaro Ss, which the 5th generation is 2010 to 2000, and I think it technically goes to 2015. But the generation that I'm more interested in is the 2010 to 2012, 2013. They've got like the more rounded taillights on the rear that are more reminiscent of the original first generation Camaro. And so I guess I just want to talk about it because I've actually gotten like some newfound kind of sort of interest in these cars, which I know as somebody who has been very vocal about being a Ford, a Mustang guy, it's definitely probably kind of different to hear. Like I said, and like I've said before, I really don't discriminate when it comes to domestic, American muscle cars. I'm a huge fan of, Ford, Dodge, Chevy, the Camaro, the Mustang, the Charger, the Challenger, all of the muscle, cars, Pontiac, with the G8 and the GTO, the Firebird, of course. I have a huge love for all American muscle cars, all domestic cars, all V8s. I'm just a huge fan. But the 5th Gen Camaro is one that I've had a little experience with in the past. I've driven a 5th Gen V6 Camaro. It was a stick, And from what I remember, it was a fun car. It was quick. For a V6, it was much quicker than my V6 at the time, which was that red Mustang that I had, which had just a very, very sluggish and low output engine. The Camaro definitely felt much more spry, quick on its feet, and I mean it was also much newer. I believe the one I drove was a 2012, 2011 maybe. The Camaro SSs that I've really been looking at are the 2012s. I guess because they're the newest of that generation, the 5th gen that I can afford. Once you get to 13 and 14, they get a little bit more pricier and out of the budget. But I've mentioned how I've been looking at 5.0s in the past and kind of looking to upgrade, and the Camaro is actually something that is now on my radar, which is something that's kind of interesting to say since I've never really had any sort of interest in them before. And, like I said, I'd driven the V6 Camaro, and I remember it being a quick car, responsive. I do remember the blind spots kind of being a problem, but there again, that's kind of something you get with the Camaro. Even, the 6th gens, the most recent versions, are also very notorious for having the same problem. A very unusable back seat as well, although you don't buy a car like that for the back seat. But the Camaro is definitely a different car than the Mustang. It seems that the Camaro is a little more, I don't know, like as far as the inside goes, it's a little smaller, maybe a little less spacious feeling. Now, whether or not it's actually less spacious is it's kind of hard to say, being that I have not really been in either of them extensively. It's actually been a while since I've actually seen that V6 Camaro. It's been a little bit since I've kind of been in it. But I've always, I remembered it being a comfortable car. The seats were very comfortable, and the shifter in his, it was a friend of mine in high school. And the shifter, he had the stock shifter, but it still felt really nice for a stock shifter. And so I can only imagine the SS might even be even more so. I think the SS has a different transmission than the V6. So, and given that it's the V8, the more expensive model, I would imagine the transmission might be a little bit more notchy and a little more beefed up, obviously, to handle the horsepower and torque. But the 5th generation Camaro SS is definitely a lot of people's favorite Camaros. People say the 5th gen is actually the best Camaro, obviously, other than the 1st gen original. But people say the 5th gen is kind of the best reimagining of the Camaro. And I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I like the 6th gens a lot, but the 5th gen is definitely my favorite. And the LS3, which comes in the manuals, which is obviously what I would be buying, the LS3 is just a monster. And I mean, I'm a huge 5.0 guy, and I love the 5.0, to death. But the LS3 really is a crazy power plant. It's got crazy potential. It's very reliable, very stout, able to take a lot of abuse, and not to mention they sound incredibly good. Probably the best sounding cammed V8 engine, in my opinion. The LS platform definitely has a much thicker and chunkier chop to it when it's cammed compared to the modular Ford engines, like I said, in my opinion. But it's definitely going to come down to me driving both of these cars and kind of getting a feel for both of them and seeing, what's different about them, what's similar, what I like, what I don't. Just before I kind of decide what I'm looking to get. And the Camaro, just being right up front, at least in my personal situation, the Camaro is actually cheaper to insure than the Mustang, which I guess would make sense since Mustangs do kind of have that crowd killer reputation. And, a lot of times those reputations are based in at least a little bit of reality. And I know Mustangs are very much a car that is wrecked often, especially by younger people. The Camaro, I feel, might be a little better off in that regard, since I don't personally see a lot of people, younger people, or at least like my age, driving Camaros, or at least V8 Camaros. I mean, they're out there, obviously, but they're a lot less common to see than the V8 Mustangs. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Camaro was discontinued for a long time. I believe it went out of production in 2003, and then they brought it back in 2010. So, or at least for the 2010 model year. So I think those kind of 6 years, or I guess 7 model years worth of break time had an impact on the insurance, because the S197 came out, the 3-valve came out in that time period, and the 3-valve is kind of like the notorious crowd killer Mustang. It was the first one to really kind of garner that reputation, I guess. at least online, at least kind of from what I've seen. The 3-valve is kind of what sparked a lot of that. So maybe the Camaro kind of benefits from not having that crowd killer reputation. But, there again, regardless of what car you get, it's a lot of power, especially for a younger person. So I would not recommend anybody, if you're looking to buy one of these cars, and you're my age and you have no experience with muscle cars or V8s or rear-wheel drive, I would not recommend buying one of these cars. It's a lot of power. It requires a lot of responsibility. And, being able to know when it's okay to kind of get on it and, kind of have your fun and open it up a little more. It definitely takes some responsibility, some self-control. And so I think, given the way that I've built up over time, I started with the V6 and now I'm in the GT. And I've had plenty of, driving experience. I haven't been driving necessarily for a lot of years. Let's see, coming up on 4 since I first started driving, 4 years here in about 2 months. I don't have a whole long time worth, but I have a lot of experience, driving different places, longer kind of road trip style, on the interstate, and just kind of, I've had a lot of experience as well behind the wheel of, muscle cars, being that I had that V6 Mustang, which I wouldn't consider a muscle car necessarily. It definitely looked the part, but it didn't have the muscle sort of, characteristics as far as performance. But the V8, the GT that I have now has definitely been a very good way to kind of ease into that sort of rear-wheel drive V8 sort of, I don't want to say industry, but kind of market, because, the Camaro SS, the 5.0 Mustang, is a whole different beast than my 2-valve Mustang. We're talking 200 plus more horsepower and torque almost in both cases. So definitely a lot more responsibility required, and so that's kind of why, I've taken the time, I guess, to really get experience in these kind of cars, and, I've practiced driving with them, and feel confident and comfortable in, buying one and owning one and daily driving one of those cars. But the 5th Gen Camaro is definitely a car that is now on my radar, one that I'm very interested in, and I will definitely be making updates about kind of how my car buying process is going. Like I've said before, it's nothing really concrete. I don't have to buy a new car, but I am interested in getting something newer, something newer muscle. So we are on the lookout, and I will definitely be keeping update on the podcast about that. And when I probably do inevitably get something new, it will be featured for sure. But with that being said, we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Thanksgiving. And so, like I said at the beginning, happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all who are listening. I hope y'all have a great day and get to spend it with your family and just have a good time. But Thanksgiving is kind of a holiday that is one that I feel is very underappreciated. Even, especially by myself. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays. It's almost like an afterthought. Like, you don't even really think about it until it's like after Halloween and Christmas is on the way, and you're like, oh wait, there's Thanksgiving. So I guess it's important just to kind of recognize Thanksgiving and kind of what it means, why it's important. Obviously Thanksgiving is sort of a tradition stemming from way back in the, pre-colonial days even, when Europeans were first coming over here, and, everybody's familiar with the tale of Squanto and how, he helped the Plymouth colony at its first winter and helped them survive. And so Thanksgiving was like a feast between the settlers and the Native Americans, and kind of the transition into colonial era that was still kind of celebrated. And now here we are, many, hundreds of years later, and Thanksgiving still has a very sort of important meaning, even in today's society. Being thankful for, your family, your friends, the blessings that you have in life. I know we all come from different circumstances and all grow up differently and, have different experiences in life, but we all have things that we're thankful for. Even bad things that happen, we're thankful for sometimes, learning experiences that happen. And so I just think it's very important to recognize Thanksgiving and the true meaning behind it. Thanksgiving is a holiday where we go out and eat with our families, but there is more to it than that. The actual kind of giving thanks for the things that you have. And, I guess I just want to state, my thankful things. So obviously, I'm thankful for my family, my mom and my dad, my brother and my grandparents, who shout out to all of them who are going to be watching this episode. I love you all. My friends, Devin, Dylan, Christian, all the different friends that I've kept up with through high school, which the three of them really kind of cover it. Honestly, I haven't really kept up with a lot of my high school friends, and I've talked about that before in the past as well. But I'm thankful for the opportunities that I have, like with this car thing, the opportunity that I might be able to have to upgrade. I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for the car I have now already. The cars that I've had in the past. I'm thankful for, my job and the fact that I'm able to work and I'm in good enough health to work and make money and kind of make these things happen, these goals happen. I'm thankful for, my house, everything in life, you've got to be thankful. Nothing is guaranteed in life, especially even the following day, tomorrow is never guaranteed. So I think it's very important to give thanks in the present and really recognize all of the things that you have in life and the benefits that, you have going for you. And so I just want to take some time and to express my thanks for that, but also talk a little bit about my plans as well. Thanksgiving is a holiday that I've always celebrated with my family. We usually go to my grandparents' house and eat. We'll have like some turkey and ham and mac and cheese and Hawaiian rolls, and we'll usually have some sort of dessert like a nice cake or, some pie or, something homemade usually that is very, very tasty. And so I'm very thankful for that food as well. I must say it's always a very good feast on Thanksgiving. I've never had a Thanksgiving feast that I would say I haven't enjoyed. And, even as a picky eater, I find that I'm able to find things that are enjoyable to eat on Thanksgiving as well. So, Thanksgiving is definitely a holiday that I think it's very important to, take note of, even if it's the afterthought between Halloween and Christmas. It's still an important sort of day, not only historically, but as well as the sort of moral behind it and the lessons we can learn from it. And I guess it kind of keeps us grounded in a way, remembering that, we have things to be thankful for, things that we can, look at and say, I'm happy that this exists, or I'm happy this happened. Even, and like I said, even if the thing you're happy for, about happening is not necessarily good, the consequences of that can always be a positive, and the things you learn and how you grow as a person. So giving thanks for all that is very important. And so that's why I think Thanksgiving overall is a very important holiday. And so naturally following up with that, we have Black Friday, which I talked a little bit about Black Friday in a previous episode, but Black Friday there again has been one of those sort of like days that I haven't really kept up with. It's something I'm aware of, the good deals and sales that are going on, but I haven't ever participated, and so I'm actually changing that this year. I requested Black Friday off, so I've naturally, because I requested that off, I've been working a whole bunch. And so I'm very excited for that to get here. I'm obviously off on Thanksgiving as well, but I'm very, very much looking forward to that Friday off. And me and my mom are going to go Black Friday shopping. We're going to probably go out to the mall, the local mall, and, the different stores, Best Buy, Target, kind of see what we can find. I'm in the market for a new TV. I think I've talked about that a little bit before. I definitely want like a smart TV, and Black Friday is definitely a good time to find deals on those sort of items. So hopefully I'll be able to come up with something that'll be a good buy. I don't want to spend too much money. So if any of y'all have recommendations for cheap smart TVs, I'm all ears. I'm definitely looking for probably like a 50 or 55 inch TV. Definitely want something a little bigger. I would rather buy something too big than too small. So I figure by getting the 50 or 55 inch for my bedroom, I will be definitely set, at least for the foreseeable future. I've been looking at like TCLs and Vizio, Hisense, and then Target's brand Element as well seems to have pretty good reviews, but I've also heard they're kind of like the trash bin TVs that are not really designed with longevity in mind. So that's obviously something that's very important to me. So I'm going to have to see what I end up getting. A lot of it will probably be like on the spot, sort of deciding, like I see the TV, see the picture in front of me, and that's what I decide to get. So yeah, TVs are definitely something we've had a lot of TVs since I've kind of grown up, and the TV I have now is very old. It's very small and old, and not really fitting of my new room setup. It doesn't really match, so I'd like to get something more sleek that will go with that, and the flat screen I think will definitely complement the vibe I'm going for. But that's really like my Black Friday plans. Black Friday in general is a very chaotic day. A lot of fighting and arguments and all sorts of drama that goes along with Black Friday shopping. Not only between different customers and stores, people battling for items, but also between people in their own family. Creates a lot of frustration having to go shopping, and the crowdedness and everything. It's just not really my ideal. But there again, it's taking a step out of my comfort zone, trying something new. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll be able to get a dope-ass TV out of it as well. That is definitely the plan. I've been looking to upgrade my television for a long time. And, like I said, it's very small. So going from something like what I have now, I would say it's probably like a 32-inch TV. Going from that to like a 50 or 55-inch flat screen will be a big difference for me. And like I said, having a smart TV, I know they make the Android TVs or like the Google TVs now as well, and that might pair pretty well with my phone, being that I have an Android phone. So maybe I can find something that will have a very seamless connection. The Android TV might be something that is particularly on my list because, I have an Android phone, like I said. But I don't know. It's going to be curious to see, or I guess rather, I'm curious to see how it's going to go because, like I said, Black Friday is never something that I've ever participated in, or at least extensively. So I'm definitely going to make an update about that when it comes and goes. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it'll be better than I'm expecting it to be. But like I said, I'm kind of expecting it to be very crowded and chaotic. So fingers crossed. That's all we can do. But with that being said, we're going to dive right back into our final topic here. So this is something that I definitely have kind of strong opinions about, and it is aliens and extraterrestrial life. So, I don't know, going back all the way to my childhood, I've always kind of been fascinated by this type of stuff, and just space in general. I've always had a huge love for space and the stars, and looking up and seeing all the incredible things in the universe. And the thought that we're the only things that exist in the billions upon billions of light years of space that is within the universe is just, I don't know, it's very much a closed-minded sort of mindset, honestly. Like, how could we be the only things in such a large space, the only living creatures? And, I'm not necessarily saying that I believe in aliens in the sense of, like, I believe in little gray men or green people that, have big heads and big bulging eyes and abduct people. That's not really what I'm saying. But definitely, like, I consider aliens or extraterrestrial life to be just that. Like, life outside of Earth. Things that are considered living creatures that are outside of our realm of living creatures, because Earth is where we've been contained for, the entirety of the human species history. And so it's crazy to think that there might be other types of life out there that have evolved in a similar way, I guess, over the millions of years of time. Maybe other forms of life have come up the way humans have, and, have had complex and intelligent civilizations and been more, I guess, awakened than, or I guess more conscious than, like, the average sort of living creature. These humans are, aware of their consciousness, and are, humans in general go beyond just like being an animal. Like, we're conscious, we're creative, we, are interpersonal. So it's definitely interesting to think that there might be another type of civilization on another planet somewhere that's that same way. And like I said, I feel like it's very close-minded to feel that you are the only sort of living creature in the universe. Like, the universe is very broad and vast, and so I definitely think there's life elsewhere. And I mean, I know they're searching for life on other planets. That's a very active sort of thing, very active sort of search in the astronomy community. And I know that they're, especially even in our own solar system, like moons of like, what was it? It was like one of Jupiter's moons, I think, that they were looking at that may potentially harbor some life under the atmosphere, and dwarf planets and stuff in other solar systems that kind of border that habitable zone that Earth sits in, distance wise from their star. So it'd be very interesting to see kind of what the developments in the scientific community are over the course of, even my lifetime, to see what kind of otherworldly things might be out there. And I even read that there was like a top sort of, I don't know if it was a NASA official, but some sort of space agency official who had even admitted, it might have even been the Air Force or something like that, but they had released like a document or something, or one of their, people was quoted as saying that there are things that have happened that are documented that have no known origin or are otherwise, UFO, unidentified flying object related, or, maybe even potentially extraterrestrial. So the fact that our own sort of big, I guess governing body sort of officials, in these big sort of space, exploration companies have even admitted that there are things outside of our understanding that have been documented to occur. I think that's really badass. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see the developments that kind of come over time with, extraterrestrial life, and to see kind of how, the future might change our, perspective on things. But, with that being said, I think that aliens could definitely be out there. And I think if they are, they don't necessarily have to be green people. They could be like microbes or something. I would consider that an alien. That is extraterrestrial life. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts in the comments about aliens and what you think. I'm definitely very curious. This has definitely been sort of like a debated opinion, that I've had debates with people about this. Some people believe in them, some people don't. And, whether or not you do or not, that's cool. Like, we all have our reasons, our justifications. And that's cool. I think it's very nice that we kind of have topics like this that we can have opposing viewpoints on and debate. I think that's really important. Being able to have a healthy debate with people about things that you disagree with. So I would love to hear in the comments about your opinions on aliens and extraterrestrial life in general. And, whether or not you think we're alone out there in the world or in the universe. But with that being said, that's going to bring episode 21 here to a close. I hope y'all enjoyed. And if so, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all the good stuff that I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber. But I hope this video found you all in a positive mindset and in a good spot in your life. And if not, just know you're stronger than your circumstances and you will make it through. And like I said at the beginning and in the middle, happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. I hope you have a great holiday with your family and have a good feast as well. I know I will. And, thank you all for watching, and thank you all for the support on the podcast. It really means a lot to me. But with that being said, this has been A New Direction, episode 21. I have been Colin, and stay chill, and I will talk to y'all next time. See ya.